fight to hold our heads up high and beat the drum to what we love. Risk the fall, oh, we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of a world that we defy. A solemn reign of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last fight. Hearing voices from afar, join the madness when the curtain falls. Risk it all, hold nothing back. Seize the day, we must attack. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of a world that Awake to my voice and hear the call within. Embrace the fear inside. Surrender your mind tonight again. Close your eyes, have faith in me, and leave the light behind. You're never alone. Whenever it's gone, let the shadows take hold. You're never alone. Let the poison in. Feel the warmth arise. Close your eyes, have faith in me, and leave the light behind. You're never alone. Whenever it's gone, let the shadows take hold. You're never soon you'll be set truly free from all those chains you bear.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to week 2 Mnvl action. Tonight, League of Legends will be the game we are casting. We are very happy to be here. We have two awesome schools duking it out for us this evening. Those schools being Apple Valley and Egan. And boy, oh boy, Vance, I'm excited to be here. How about you, man? Week 2.
I'm very excited, and I bet these teams are excited as well. Both these teams, one of them has a tie, one of them has a loss. They're both hungry for a win here, so let's hope they bring up their A game and hopefully they one of them gets a win.
Right, for sure. Both these teams coming in game 2 of the season. You didn't quite get what you wanted week 1 for Apple Valley. They came out with a tie, so they ended up splitting the series. And we actually saw a splitting of the series on our own cast, you and I, that being Rogers and SJP. That was a pretty close set of games, right? So very close action across the league here, week 1. But now focusing in on Apple Valley and Egan. And I got to give a quick shout out to the coach for Apple Valley's league team, Wallyford. I actually competed against him in some collegiate games. So very cool to see him helping out his old alma mater high school. So very cool. And, exciting to see, Egan and Apple Valley are two very prominent schools here in Mnvl. They have teams across the leagues that do quite well for themselves. We consistently see these guys as contenders. So really looking to see which one of these teams is going to come out hungrier for the win tonight.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams have a lot on their shoulders. They got a lot of help too, I'm sure, from their school, whether it be from students within their school or a coach, like you said, that you played against. So I hope they can show off their schools well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you and I were let's talk a little bit about some of the picks that we were just looking at here off. I mean, we were just doing some OPGG researches, my apologies, and we saw a common contested bot lane pick was Tristana. So pretty interesting, a very aggressive early game AD carry like herself, going to be a pick to watch, right, going into this first champion select. But some other picks that we saw, very aggressive in the top side of things, man. We saw Set, we saw bruisers like Camille, Jax, and I mean, some of these guys are running Ignite in some of their Flex Fives games. So, I mean, we're going to have to be looking at potential solo kill threats going down in some of these games. What are some of the other picks that you saw that you kind of liked?
Uh, I I I still like the bot lane a lot. I think Tristana would be a very good contest pick. It depends on whether or not one team bans or the other just tries and gamble for the pick. But
Right.
that means we'll also, if a Tristana lock goes in as well, we'll see a hook champion, maybe like an early game champion like Nautilus or Blitzcrank or
Yeah.
Thresh. But we've also seen a bit of Swain in the bot lane too from one of these teams as well.
Yeah, no, I do like the Blitzcrank call. We saw that popping up across both teams as well. I mean, a very good combo for, going teaming up fire with an aggressive hook champion. I mean, I saw Pike in some of the research as well. So very aggressive nature coming out from both of these squads. And I mean, we saw electricity across Summoner's Rift last week. There was countless team fights from even the team that was a little bit behind, right? There was no giving up from both these teams. And we hope that Apple Valley and Egan can deliver here tonight. We're going to be getting into the sorry, what's the pick band called? It's I can't come up with it right now. Champion Select. No,
Champions.
Champion Select, but the app. We use a different pick band. Pro Draft. There it is. Appreciate the shout out to Bad Dog on that one. Pro Draft, just so both of these teams can draft champions and not be limited to not having them on their accounts because, a few players don't really own every champion and that can come at a disadvantage when it comes down to the draft. So we'll be getting over to that pretty soon here. But I mean, other than that, man, I think a big highlight that and something that we're going to look at is the jungle matchup specifically. We saw quite contested champions along the lines of Olaf, some Volibear, very aggressive early game junglers. And, if we can take anything away from last week, it was early game jungling and making impactful plays played out very nicely for that team in the long run, right? So they were able to make better towards the later half of the game from the jungle impact early on. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that throughout these games here tonight.
I agree. I think the jungler will be a very big impact in this game. There will be ganks all over the place. I feel like the bot lane is going to be very present if these early champ picks that we're predicting right now will go
For
into
sure.
play. So I
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you're talking about it. Those bot lane picks, how aggressive these teams like to draft, those hooks, right? The Tristana, Ezreal, Vayne, all these aggressive AD carries, Kaisa as well. I also saw a lot of Samira, right? Something that we haven't talked about yet. But I mean, Samira is one of the most all-in AD carries you can ask for besides Tristana, right? So not surprising to see those kind of champions going hand in hand there. So a few seconds away before we get into it, folks. We thank you all for being here to start out week 2 with us here at MNVL. But so far, man, so good from the games. I was very happy and pleased with the way things went last week. But now, hoping to see Apple Valley and Egan, both these squads trying to find their first win of the season, and Zach being banned out. We talked about a little bit of Zach being a highlight pick for the jungle on the Egan side, and immediately Apple Valley going to realize that threat and take care of it.
I wonder if it'll be a repeat of last week's game 1 where they ban out one player and they just absolutely lose in all the other lanes. But I hope we don't see that again. Last
Ooh,
time it didn't.
there it is, Rek'Sai
There it
ban.
is.
So, you can take it both ways, right? If you can make good on banning out a specific, player and you go multiple bans in that pocket, it could be successful in the long run. But we saw quite a different, champion pool level over on this Apple Valley jungle side. Like, there's still Olaf available. Volibear still available. So a couple different jungles still being able to be picked for this Egan side of things. And Camille being the last ban, I like that ban adaptation. One of the most played top laners for our top lane over on the Egan side. And the Samira ban
Camille,
as well.
I agree. Camille is a really impactful champion, and we have a Katarina ban in the mid lane as well. So seeing a little bit of spread right now, unlike game one, which is really good in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because this opens up, like, you can let them pick and then maybe ban out the two others, and there's a lot of freedom right now for both teams right now.
Yeah. We'll have to see. 10 seconds winding down in this first pick here. Tristana, man, we talk about it. It happens, you know. Not surprised, though. We said it was going to be a highly contested pick. Neither team opted to ban it, and it's the first pick of the draft here. Fiora being the lock. Ooh. Man, that is a bold pick coming out from Egan to kick it out. They took away the Camille, so they opt for another good hybrid bruiser in the Fiora. Offers great utility in the split pushing aspect of things. Not the best team fighter, but we'll have to see how Egan decides to play off of that Fiora pick.
And if these early game picks in the bot lane also come in, such as like a Blitzcrank or a Swain, maybe there won't be that much presence of jungle in the top lane. So maybe these top laners are going for bruiser picks or one-on-one picks that like would allow them to fight without their jungler.
Yeah, I mean, we see the Volibear lock in now as well. So another pick that we were expecting. They took away the Zac in the Rek'Sai. We said Volibear was still going to be an option, and that is what we see next. So both teams picking pretty comfort based right now, I would say. A nice Trundle pick. So could definitely throw a wrench in the Egan plans. Such a strong one-on-one 2v2 champion in the Trundle. His dueling is nigh untouchable. And the set to follow up, the classic pick for the top lane on Dagda's. So, I mean, so far, I mean, we said it, Vance. More and more comfort shown from both teams.
All these picks are pretty standard from what we've seen. We just see some really strong duelists, some strong bruisers. That Tristana pick going in, and the Blitzcrank ban that would probably be beneficial.
Yeah, a good takeaway. You don't want a Tristana getting paired up with a Blitzcrank, because if anything spells kill lane, it's Tristana Blitzcrank. So I mean, you know, there's no escaping that. A Morgana ban as well, so not too bad. Malzahar being the mid lock, Fiora being the top lane lock. So far, Egan showing their entire top lane of the draft. So, I mean, ABHS knowing that they only have to ban out towards the bot lane and doing so accordingly. Yasuo being the final takeaway for Egan, and Ezreal being the ban. So, two of the top pick AD carry-wise for Egan being taken out. I'm going to be interested to see if they opt for the Kai'Sa or the Vayne. Still trying to get to that kind of scaling style in the bot lane. Ooh, a Jinx as well.
Jinx.
Could fill that card nicely.
Nice. I like Jinx a lot here. She does have a little bit of escape tool, especially with that passive that gives her all that move speed. So if she starts stacking kills, she can just sit in the back, but not too much in the back with that Nautilus pick and the Victor pick as well.
Seraphine, the match, man. I'm scared now for this Egan bot lane. They go for it. Seraphine and Jinx, they don't have the best mobility. Like, Jinx requires a kill or passive reset or, you know, tower or big neutral objective going down for that to be activated. So going to be relying on that. If Nautilus can connect a dredge line or from the depths with the ultimate, I mean, it would be trouble, right? I mean, you're going to have to be very cautious, and the positioning going to have to be a key thing going on in the mind of Aho player. 80 carry for the Egan squad. Overall, I mean, you know, talk to me about these drafts for a little bit. What do you like? What do you dislike?
I definitely like. I feel like Egan High School has more of a team fight advantage with the poke and CC from Seraphine and Volibear. The Malzahar comes in pretty well with the AoE silence and the minions, but Apple Valley has such a strong early game that could probably catapult them and maybe end the game a bit earlier than letting Egan scale with these a little bit late game champs, I'd say.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, I'm personally favoring the Apple Valley team fight composition a little bit more than Egan, because the Seraphine crowd control isn't as reliable. It's not instantaneous, whereas the Trundle Pillar plus Set plus Nautilus provide quite the beefy trio of a front line. Victor can put up the static minefield as well to shut any kind of a push down. I mean, I think it's going to be quite the counter engage that Egan would have to find in an angle of these team fights. Fiora's going to be looking for a flank of some sort. So we'll have to see. It's going to have to come down to how both of these schools can execute. Game 1 of week number 2 off. Are you excited or what, man? This is going to be action-packed. Both these drafts coming out and looking for the kill early in this one.
I'm really excited for this game. There's a lot of early game potential and a lot of early kill potential. Also, with the Fiora top lane, there might be a few solo kills as well. Those two champions would just be fighting and fighting, trading and trading.
For sure.
Just keep on clashing.
For sure. And that brings us to a question I want to ask you. Showing the Fiora, showing the Set, these are bruiser fighting type champions, right? We are going to inevitably see some jungle presence up in the top lane, and that can very much sway how this early game will play out, because all it takes in a bruiser v bruiser style matchup like this is one kill to start to get that ball rolling, and then really you can take it as far as you can go, really. So I'm really excited to see how the early jungle pathing is going to impact the top side of the map here for both these squads.
You're right about the kills. I mean, one kill and it's probably done for whoever died. Like, Set does a lot of damage in the early game, but Fiora has such good, like, go in, go out with the poke, with the Q, and just absolutely decimate and wait for the jungler while she just pokes away.
For sure. Folks, we are going to take a very, very short break. We have a couple little minute delay here for the spectate, but when we come back, we will be heading right into Summoner's Rift for game 1 of the evening. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Grab your snacks, grab your drinks. When we come back, it's time for action. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being patient. We are a few moments away from loading into our first game of the evening. We are heading into Summoner's Rift, where Apple Valley and Egan are duking it out for Week 2 League of Legends action here. Vance, any final words before we get into this one?
I'm excited to watch. There's gonna be a lot of fights early. Maybe we'll get a longer game, hopefully, and just keep on casting that. But I feel like the game will last a little bit shorter than last week's due to the fact that there's so much early game pressure from most of the champs on Apple Valley's side.
Right? We can always hope for a long banger of a match, but in the end of the day, both these squads drafted quite aggressive compositions here. So going to be quite amount of fighting going on, quite amount of skirmishing going on, and a lot of bloodshed from both squads here. It's going to be a fun lot of action here. And like you said earlier, the point being both these schools very hungry to get their first win of the season and get back to it, right? A draw for Apple Valley, Egan taking the 0-2 defeat. I mean, so really the bounce back week comes now. You'd hate
Yeah.
to fall into an 0-2 barrel. So we'll see how whoever comes out stronger really is going to be able to skyrocket their chances of success here to kick it out. So going into game in a couple seconds, any predictions for me here off?
Maybe we'll see an invade. I don't know. It seems if Tristana is definitely I like Tristana and like ADC's early game, especially champs that go lethal tempo. Like their early game is like really fun, and I
Mhm.
usually like to invade with them as well with my team.
Okay.
So maybe we can see that.
You talk about invade, they have a Nautilus as well who does quite well on an invade. That dredge line can be quite menacing. As we load on to Summoner's Rift, Twitch chat, let me hear it for your teams you're cheering for, Apple Valley and Egan. Let's run down the roster one more time. I'll take Apple Valley. Dagda's in the top lane on the set. Worst bubble on the Trundle. Yeah, it's Benji on the Victor. Beefin on the Tristana and Blitzcranker on the Nautilus.
And we have number one Keshi fan. I'm a Keshi fan too on the Fiora. We got Ek5 on the volley in the jungle. We got Shidon with Malzahar in the mid lane. Aho player with Jinx in the bot lane. And Disaster Splittist on Seraphine in the support.
Man, I mean, lots of good things on both compositions. An interesting point I'm going to note right now is number one Keshi fan on the Fiora running the Ghost. So opting for the late game, I mean, split pushing ability would be absolutely menacing if they can make it to that spot. Jungle camps about to spawn in now. Volibear just getting back in time, swapped over to the scanner. So,
Yeah, something I personally don't see often on set as well is lethal tempo. So
yeah,
I think he's going for these extended trades, and without that flash, Keshi might get into a few tight squeezes when set gets that early lethal tempo procs.
for sure. And a point to note, junglers starting on opposite sides of the map,
And
but a
there's
dredge
already
line
and
going
look at
on.
this
The
early game
Tristana bomb,
pressure.
Aho player forced to flash out immediately. So aggression paying off early for Apple Valley. Dagda's getting traded up in the top lane, and another dredge
And
line going to
another
connect.
hook.
This is
No
trouble.
way.
No
There's
flash.
no way.
Exhaust on, so the
Will
damage
the
not going to
ignite
be
kill it?
enough. Disaster trying to commit. Bomb going down. Egan bot lane is going to be in quite the world of hurt in the first 2 minutes here.
This is exactly what we were talking about. They already burned through 3 summoner spells. There's already an early back coming in from Jinx, missing all this CS. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
All that pressure.
indeed. And now, number one Keshi fan getting the better of these early trades, as Fiora should. But bot lane well in favor of Apple Valley off the get-go here.
Yeah. This is crazy. We have Trundle doing his bot side as well, so maybe he'll loop back around in the bot side to get a gank after Scuttle.
Yeah, I mean, and flashes are down, so this bot lane is already in trouble for Egan, Not a good spot to be in. Jinx not having flash or heal almost certainly could go down if Worst Bubble was able to come down here and set up a perfect pillar on a gank. But ECK5 on this Volibear looking about towards top lane, but not going to find any camps here. Scrying Orb not going to spot anything. Now going to try to take top Scuttle Crab. Shouldn't find any problems. And where's Bubble still clearing through a full clear. Now, finishing up on his red buff.
Looks like Volibear's just opting for a recall and reset. Looks like Set's trying to go for something here, but
good trade.
Ultimately won't get anything.
A canceled recall, seeing if Dagdas decides to just overstep a little bit. ECK5 gonna run out of time a little bit here. Now, Trundle position in this bottom tri-bush will get spotted on this bottom ward, and now ECK trying to get in. Not gonna be quite on hook.
On the Jinx, no
Jinx,
flash.
no flash.
Trundle there too.
It is gonna be
over.
first blood. Tristana and Apple Valley strike first as they open it up nicely in the bot lane.
Malzahar is flanking Victor as well, or he's just walking up back to his turret. No.
Man, oh man, dude. 3 consecutive dredge lines in the bot lane. The follow-up gank, like we said, pays the dividends. An Aho player in trouble. Now, Tristana getting quite the early lead. A quick replay, a perfect Trundle pillar, and that Tristana Penguin stacking away sends Aho player back to the fountain. And now,
not only is it kill difference right now, but there's also a huge CS difference now. We have still more just trading in the bot lane, in the top lane, sorry. But pretty equal right now.
You say CS difference, and that equivalates to that gold lead, right? That's what I was about to say when you were saying it. So, you know, we're thinking the same thing here. Apple Valley shooting out to about a 700 gold lead early on here. So a full set of boots coming out for Tristana. Now good trading going on in top lane. Infernal Dragon being the first of the game. Quite a contestable early dragon, offering that bit of a damage buff to your entirety of your team. Level 6s coming up here for mid lane. What were you going to say?
I'm just saying that this set is doing pretty good when it comes to trades because of that passive healing that he gets. Like, just the more HP he has, the more he heals, and it just allows him to keep trading, walk back, wait a few seconds, maybe like a minute, and then come back in while Fiora doesn't have the same kind of sustain.
Yeah,
only sustain she
this
gets
is trouble though. A good parry coming out, and now the vitals being hit. #1 Keshi fan.
It's a W.
The flash out. It's Dagdas to come out on top. You talk about the healing from the set, and somehow Dagdas is built different in the top lane. ECK5 trying to stop a recall. It will land, now clearing out the ward in the end though. I mean, a CS lead heavily in favor of #1 Keshi fan, doing a good job, but it's set to come out on top in the 1v1. So just showing that prowess and that knowledge on the set being his most played. Paying off nicely.
That early game pressure from Set, all that damage is absolutely insane, especially with the lethal tempo stacks he was getting mid-fight as well. This easy
the dredge
stacks,
line,
a hook from
the
Nautilus,
Tristana jumping on, Aho players in trouble, Ignite going, one more auto's gonna do it, and it's the final Ignite tick to send Aho player back to base again, and it is this Apple Valley bot lane absolutely exploiting the bottom half of the map right now as they proceed over to the Infernal Dragon and get ready to continue to dominate the early game. Look at that gold lead.
Yeah, I don't know if Egan can come back from this. I mean, it's a bit early from the game, but like you have so much, there's so much momentum that was lost, and there's even a flash out.
Good roaming from Blitzcranker. I mean, it's definitely early to call it to be over. You have a good amount of scaling still on the side of Egan, but it's about stopping the bleeding now, right? Your boat is taking on water. There's too many holes popping up. It's time to fix the early things that you can. Avoid trading. Try to get some CS on your Jinx. Get some wards down there and avoid that Nautilus, right? We talked about that dredge line and how dangerous of a kill lane it is, and it's showing through right now like a sore thumb. A beautiful parry coming out. The grand duel coming out. Set going for the ultimate, and now #1 Keshi fan gets the final healing from the ultimate. How much can you do? Opting to run back to turret and gonna survive by the skin of his teeth. Set
just has
so dangerous, man, in the 1v1. He's the boss.
So much. All that HP, all that healing, just absolutely crazy. And that Iron Spike whip just gives him so much AD as well in that fight. That auto damage is insane.
CK5.
Now we have Volibear walking.
Yeah, you said it. Let's see what happens here. Dagdas could find one. Number one Keshi fan goes in. Another beautiful repose.
I think this
the
is
CC chain gonna happen, and that's an outplay coming out from number one Keshi fan and ECK5. Beautiful gank coming out. I mean, go ahead and talk about it for a second there.
That was well played. I mean, you could not have wanted anything better than that. We had the volley season, we had the Fiora come here and just start the fight, you know, just take him down a bit, dodge that W, which was very nice. That definitely saved him.
Yeah.
This ult, that ult heal
Healing up,
was
and then the
absolutely
Ghost,
saving.
right? Ghost building the distance. He levels up too, and then, you know, the beautiful CC chain coming out, the riposte to get it going. ECK5 now looking back onto Victor, has flash
Walking around the
available,
cage.
gets stunned up. Ultimate could come out here from the Volibear. Doesn't have it quite yet. Goes for the dunk,
does.
disables the turret, and one going back the way of Egan. So the Wildcats not done with it yet.
Absolutely. I mean, these champions are just going back and forth, trading, but mid lane is also going crazy. And another dive, dude.
Now fighting
Can't get
again.
enough.
This bot lane is in trouble. Disaster down to mere 200 HP about. No flash now, so gonna have to opt for a recall. And Bethan and Blitzcrank are gonna push in. And now Nautilus with level 6. Wow, the Hex Flash doesn't quite connect on the dredge line. Blitzcranker's been good for it so far, and his name proven true for it so far. I mean, right? You got the hook in the name, and so far playing out very nicely. But look at the gold lead we talked about. Now down to 300 gold here. Egan very much fighting back into this.
Yes, this top lane is absolutely just wrecking him in CS right now. And the trades are like not even that bad.
Oh,
that
number one
that
Keshi fan.
dodge
This is going to be a
nice.
good
Another
fight.
ult.
Dagda's got to run for the hills.
Oh, he misses.
Ultimate
Missed
going to
dash.
happen, but overall, I mean, not a fight that Set can win anymore. The dive in
Oh.
bot lane, and it's a double kill to the Tristana, and it is Apple
Wow.
Valley cleaning house here. Somehow, both of the bot laners surviving with 0 HP. It seems the wave going to come through, and look at how much further ahead Tristana is to the Jinx. Now, here we have it. The dive being set up, the bomb on tower, so it's going to damage you if you're close. Seraphine takes more damage. Blitzcranker going to open up. The ultimate hits both, and they get thrown into the
Sun goes
bounce
there.
house. The Tristana gets the resets and will jump on out, tanking 2 tower shots. And now, Apple Valley, man, making it look easy in the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, Egan just needs to sit back as far as they can. I mean, yeah, they couldn't do anything there. There was a Trundle, we got not ult, not hook, not passive. Like, that's 3 forms of CC right there on one character. Which is
Something we want to
little bit
know.
crazy.
We just saw the highlight pop up. First mythic item of the game coming in. Hex Flash potentially for Nautilus. Not quite going to be in range. Dredge line won't connect. But we saw the Turbo Chem Tank being finished up. So for the first mythic item of the evening, going the way of ECK5. We'll see if he can utilize that active ability early here. Victor down flash right now, going aggressive. Shidon no longer having that passive shield. Worst bubble on the flank here could be quite the problem here. Shidon has to get back to tower. We'll be okay for now. And now the dive coming out. Ultimate available. Fiora gets the riposte. Set, you can't fight this 1v2. And it's a killing spree found for the Egan jungler.
absolutely good fight for Apple Valley. I mean, this Volibear is just going in and out of lanes. It doesn't even look like he's jungling at this point. At this point, he's just farming the champions now. I mean, 3 kills,
Nice
Chem
stretch
Tank, and
line.
a Dark Seal.
Tristana jumping
Another
in,
dive.
the choppers. Big bomb damage
So
going out on the Disaster. And now, Egan, I mean, so for how rough it is going in the bot side of things here, Vance, in the top side, it is working wonders. The flash on,
the flash.
aggressive play from Shidon, trying to finish off
Will be
Benji. He
enough.
doesn't have the flash, and he will find it. The ultimate
Absolutely.
not going to be enough. A solo kill going the way of the Egan mid laner, and now that gold lead has evaporated. It is a mere 200 gold, and almost not even that here. Quite the good amount of plays found back to back here for the Egan squad.
And like, they might be setting up just vision around the jungle, setting up for a gank or a dragon here, because they could easily just pressure bot lane into recalling or just killing them straight up. So.
Oh, the flash
Dragons are
in.
free.
Nautilus going on.
Dive.
Disaster is just
Yeah.
instantly dead. That's a rampage for Beffin as this Apple Valley bot lane continuing to dominate. So the cross mapping is something that we have to highlight. But for as good as Apple Valley has done in the bot lane, resources have not been spared to the top side. Dagdas has been left out to dry, and it's been the Egan side of things playing it very nicely. So we'll have to see where the highlight and the gold really goes and plays the value, most of it being on ECK5. And now they're going into his jungle and they're trying to take him out.
Absolutely,
The pillar coming out,
bully him.
the Trundle ultimate going down, and it's ECK5 to go down. The shutdown going over to Worst Bubble as they find him and shut him down, man. As we're trying to give him credit, Apple Valley continue to take more.
This is an absolutely amazing early game, especially like with this comfort pit with Tristana that we were talking about earlier. They have 2 dragons at 14. They have this Tristana with 4 kills, I believe. 4 kills, and just I think she's ready for her mythic pretty soon as well. So,
Dude, let's go ahead, finish.
I just want to say that like this is exactly what they wanted. This is what they went for in draft. I mean that first pick. Yeah,
you could see
that
it.
Gold.
Yeah, man, you could see it. It all played out to fruition. We talked about what they wanted to draft, the way they wanted to play from what they were drafting, and that Tristana and Nautilus bot lane is not something that anybody wants to meet on Summoner's Rift. Apple Valley showing that aggression, but now Worst Bubble and ECK5 meeting up. No ultimate available for the Trundle, so immediately has to run for the hills. PTA will be activated. Now trying to turn back this attack. Dagdas has a blast cone and a flank available, now turning into a 3-on-2. The engage on the #1 Keshi fan will be stunned up for a moment. The Bully Bear ultimate to follow. Now Set trying to heal up, but not long for the world. This fight is not something you want to opt into, Apple Valley. Benji trying to get out, the ghost going down for #1 Keshi fan, and the double kill found, even up in the kill department. And man, we keep talking about the cross mapping and Egan,
And
but
another
we can't even
dive,
talk.
dude.
Fighting again.
It's just over and over again.
And again, Tristana and this Nautilus are teaching it. Not again! Nautilus!
No!
The dredge lines, it's automatic.
There's even the Herald coming in the top lane too to help Fiora out.
Dude, I need to take a breath. They are not even letting me breathe. These teams, the amount of fighting. Rift Herald called in, turret taken out, and now nothing to keep Dagdas safe. A 1 versus 2, can he get the W off? The true damage comes out, Bully Bear gonna heal up and get away, and it's another kill given over. Dagdas, you gotta know when to give a little, and now drop into 1 and 4 plus losing the tower. #1 Keshi fan, unstoppable on this Fiora now, so dangerous. Worst Bubble.
Extremely dangerous.
More fighting. Is
Oh
this
my
serious
goodness.
off?
This is an amazing match. Wow. Oh, you know what?
Not
That's
happening, not happening. Gonna take a breather.
That's fair.
But look at this.
Oh,
Tristana
now-
showing up. A replay. As we see, fighting, Set trying to stay alive, goes in with the ultimate, but the Malzahar shutting down any kind of a push. And it's Beffin pulling up to the top lane and salvaging what he can, taking out Malzahar. 6-0-2 for this Tristana with a 650 gold shutdown on top of her head. The queen of the server, this little Yordle, laying the most DPS on the server, and now trying to breach open this mid-tier 1. The dredge line gonna land! Blitzcranker! My goodness!
Wow.
Whoa, the buster shot not gonna
so
quite finish it off.
close.
Big damage found, but in the end, it is gonna have to be Apple Valley falling back. 1,500 gold lead, 1 turret advantage, and good macro being shown from this AVHS squad.
I mean, they're all playing this perfectly, but Fiora, there's still a chance to come back. I mean, look at that CS difference. Like, Set just sat back and didn't get enough gold. Like, a few minutes ago, he was down 1,000 gold, and we can definitely see that right now. Like with an item difference as well. Like, it's very clear.
Yeah, man. I mean, he was doing okay in those early duels like we saw, but the CS lead is really what we wanted to highlight. And in the end, man, all it takes is, 30 minions switch shot, and that's same amount as a kill. So, and clearly Fiora doing the work. Technically 5 kills up now, or rather 4 kills up now on the set. So really showing off. and that prowess in the top lane from #1 Keshi fan. And that's exactly what Fiora can do, right? She's a specialist in the top lane at isolating the 1v1. The riposte timings have been perfect from #1 Keshi fan. So many counter CC given back over to Dagdas. He's had a tough time dealing with #1 Keshi fan, and now he's going to start opening up the rest of this map and doing some work on the split push. Third dragon coming in now as Ocean Dragon gracing Summoner's Rift. I love it when it starts raining on completion, and Ocean Dragon coming in, and immediately Apple Valley starting out. Dredgeline gonna land on a Nautilus, plus the ultimate set trying to get into position, but a Dragon going over immediately to the side of AVHS. Now on Soul Point here, off. The flash in,
Oh
Blitzcranker,
my goodness.
Seraphine,
Another-
you cannot walk alone. You are not allowed to do that. Nautilus is gonna keep punishing you, like for real.
Look at this. This is a perfect game. Like you have so much, you got so much out of your early game, and now in the mid game, like you just
But
keep
look
on
at the
scaling.
cross
Like,
map. Look at the cross map. Tier 2
Oh,
turret
no.
already taken out, and now
Rift Herald as well.
coming in. Inhibitor turret automatically gone. Can they find Inhib? That's the next question. Not a lot of mana to play off of for
There's
#1
another cross
Keshi
map
fan,
coming
but they're
as well.
base racing at this rate. Another dive. Seraphine goes down. Tristana jumps in.
Oh,
gets
Tristana
Malzahar
overextends.
Overextends
Oh.
indeed in an overheat. And at the end, the Malzahar E gonna take him out. Jinx gets excited. The zap to slow worst bubble. He will get out in the end of it, but at what cost? An inhibitor turret taken out towards top lane. This game has turned into quite the fiesta between both of these squads, but hey, we are enjoying ourselves. This has been entertaining, and that is all you can ask for to kick off week 2 MNVL action.
Yeah, they know nothing but fight and kill and just taking these objectives, farming. Hopefully we can see that like Jinx can come up eventually. I mean, it'd be nice to see her in some action, but it seems very hard, especially with this Nautilus walking around so menacing. We saw that Seraphine just walking up, thinking she was all safe, and then a Nautilus just came through the wall and ended her life so quickly.
Yeah. I mean, folks, you saw it at the bottom of your screens. Baron Nashor is now on the Rift. 20 minutes have passed, and now Apple
like
Valley
they're getting it.
immediately starting this. You can't even be serious. Scanning it now. Egan know exactly what is going on. Apple Valley, if you commit this, I mean, so be it. But right now, nobody on Egan is rotating to this. The timing, not happening.
looks so
Apple
free.
Valley, take it for free.
20-minute Baron power play, like that is
Good on
that is
them, man.
amazing.
Good on them. I love it when both plays get rewarded, and Apple Valley immediately showing that they own the Rift, and they take Baron, and now immediately 1,200 gold in the pocket on this Baron power play. We'll see what Keshi fan can do. He's really the main hope point for Egan. Has to find something on this split push, but right now, Beffin coming down to deal with it. So, trouble for the side of Egan. How much gold can Apple Valley rack up? Go ahead.
I think it's all Fiora and Volibear at this point, but I can, with a bit of confidence, say that Jinx and Seraphine won't pop up into the game for a good while. So it's just up to these two really big tanks that can get hooked by Nautilus and get out of there alive. Like, Nautilus is definitely their win condition right now.
For sure. No way. The dredge line coming down. Seraphine is alone again.
Like just...
And I feel like this is becoming the disastrous plays leading to the demise of Egan. And again, Disaster gets picked off. Opening in the mid lane. Baron buffed up minions. This is at least one turret, if not two, off of that pick. Apple Valley playing it nicely through the mid game. Another dredge line. Come at them one by one, and they're gonna knock you down one by one. The ultimate onto Malzahar. Forced to flash out. Now a Trundle Pillar could immediately end them here. If they stagger the death timers, Apple Valley could force an early end to game one. Now, more fighting. Malzahar up close. No flash. Will drop. Jinx forced to flash out, but taking more and more damage. Apple Valley blowing this game wide open.
And they all left with their lives in that Baron buff as well. Like, they still have so much opportunity to capitalize off this Baron buff. They'll still have it for early dragon fight if that ever comes to it.
Yeah. I mean, dude, shout out to this Apple Valley Baron buff power play right now as they knock down the inhibitor turret in mid and immediately shift their focuses to the bottom half of the map, because as you can see here off 30 seconds away from Soul Point and Apple Valley, very happily looking forward to taking that.
I don't see how they don't take this. They have everything they have everything right now. Baron buffed, all the teammates, and Nautilus opting in for a hook or not?
Oh yeah, he is. Oh yeah, he is.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Look at this flank. Dagdiz, a perfect flank setup
now
here.
Fiora is diving the
back line. You said it. One shot. Somehow Keshi Fan takes out the Tristana.
Oh my.
Apple Valley's kingdom falling to ash. Egan will find the fight. The flank found from Keshi Fan. What a beautiful riposte setup. Stunning Tristana in one-shotting him, man. We talked about the only hope coming out, and it's #1 Keshi Fan carrying the Egan Wildcats, and they hold off Apple Valley and stave off Dragon Point. You see the overextend, they push forward, but look at the stun, the riposte onto Tristana. So much damage, and now the healing. Immediately, Apple Valley have to flee for their lives. The flash out from Trundle, and it's a cleanup from there.
That was an absolutely amazing fight for Egan there. We talked about Fiora earlier. You just let her get CS and scale. Like, look at this, 207 CS to 89. That's like, and an extra 4 kills up on as well.
That's unheard of, man. That is one of the biggest. I'm gonna say it. One of the biggest like solo gaps I've seen in my time. That's a big shout out. You know, when all else was failing all across the Egan game here, #1 Keshi Fan has played his role almost perfectly, right? 5-1 and 3, so threatening in the split push that they have to send 2 or 3 to match him now, almost level 16 and almost 3 levels up on his opposition. So Apple Valley have to play to their strengths now and have to play to save this Tristana, because look at this, 4 levels up on this Tristana, man. It's nuts. Uh-oh, this could be troublesome. Keshi Fan's up close. They dive on in. Nautilus, Dredge lining out. Zap gonna hit him to slow him up. Below half HP, has to flash out, the riposte to follow, and now the Bully Bear flank could happen. Apple Valley have to be a little bit careful.
Looks like Volley was definitely setting up for an ult there, but the fight was disengaged way too fast for Volley to do anything there. But Fiora is just an absolute tank in there and still doing a lot of damage, especially with that Ravenous Hydra Cleaver coming in and chipping everyone else that she isn't hitting as well.
Yeah, man. In that main
and they're letting Jinx scale up as well.
Yep, Jinx starting to scale. But the main point to highlight, right? Fiora's so much tankier because of that level lead, right? That natural base stats, the HP, the resistances, the damage plus items. I mean, look at her. Almost 2.5, pushing her 3rd item. I believe it's going to be a Sterix gauge. This Fiora going to be almost unkillable if she can get an ultimate down. So Apple Valley running on a timer, it feels like now, because as Jinx scales, the chances of Apple Valley putting a close to this game become a bit less enticing, right? That percentage starts to drop off. So
Hullbreaker instead.
Yeah, I mean, Hullbreaker making that split push way more effective, and that isolation on the Fiora. But Baron buff under a minute away from being spawned in. So Fiora going for the push. She has teleport. The rest of this Egan squad cannot afford to be picked off. They have to stay alive at all costs. If they die before Fiora can make anything happen, it is going to be the end of the game for them.
And that's something they don't have much of a pleasure to do with the Nautilus walking around. Like, he hooks them, ease them, and then it's over.
You gotta sit back. And they're not doing that. They're playing aggressive, man. They got to sit back. They got to give Fiora time to get up on these turrets and start to put pressure on it. But instead, engage on the Volley Bear. The pillar coming out. Volley Bear running for the hills. Tristana using both jumps. Committing everything. But now, not quite getting onto him. The ultimate coming out. Jinx is gone. And it's Apple Valley opening up the kills early. Fiora finds the T2 tower. Now, the base race starting to happen. Set gonna try to TP on out of here. They're not gonna be able to stop it, but reality check here. Set can't really hold off this Fiora by himself. So Apple Valley immediately trying to burn down this Baron buff. They're on a timer here off, and immediately Keshi Fan dispatching the Set in the solo lane. Now gonna take out this tower, surely taking it out. ECK5 gonna look for a steal here. Egan
Oh,
on to
look
steal
at
the
that
game.
setup.
The ultimate onto Tristana.
Tristana's dead. That's all their damage.
Trundle trying to trade back. The chilling smite onto Shidon will take it out. A double kill. Disaster is taking Baron and immediately gonna fall. A triple kill the way of Worst Bubble. And somehow Apple Valley not done yet. But look at this split push from Keshi Fan as he finds 2 inhibitors on the split push off. I'm losing it, man. He's carrying the team on the back right now.
Absolutely. I was watching the minimap during that fight, and Fiora just absolutely dove that set, even under turn.
A beautiful
Just took
flash
all of
engage,
that.
man. Look at that from Malzahar to put Beffen down to 0 HP. ECK5 diving onto it, but Worst Bubble turning it back for a beautiful triple kill found from this Trundle. Disaster, man, positioning and taking almost his entire HP bar from Baron buff. So
Doesn't matter how.
yeah, it doesn't
behind
matter.
You are.
Yeah, I mean, Egan still fighting and showing, and now a gold lead the way of Egan. Probably the first of the game.
It's coming back. This Fiora is just absolutely crazy, and there's another chance for her to do something here.
Apple Valley are in a position where they are not able to make any more mistakes. One more mistake could cost them the game, and this Fiora could teleport for a backdoor play, looking for the flank on the fight. Soul Point intact here. The dive is coming out. They insta-kill Tristana. Apple Valley, are you sure this is a fight you want to take? Trundle fighting for the dragon.
Oh,
but
dragon
Egan find
steal.
it, and now more going over. This is going to be the ball game.
TP comes
Going
in.
Egan. Teleport coming out. Can they get the recalls off? Uh-oh. Let me tell you something off. These turrets
I don't think a
aren't gonna
Nautilus
last
will.
long. Fiora cutting through it like...
It's over.
Yeah, legit.
Oh my
Knife your butter,
goodness.
buddy. Sayonara, Apple Valley. It's Egan finding game 1. I'm
What
horse,
a
man.
comeback.
I can't say anything else. I'm horse. Take the cast for a second. I need some water. Take it.
Look at that. We talked about the early game that came in, but none of us, me and Skepta, were not ready for that Fiora and that volley to come in and just absolutely devastate that team. Doesn't matter how behind you are, you still have still a 5v5.
Yeah.
You had that Seraphine sending in that CC, that Malzahar. I swear, every ult that came in was on that Tristana during team fights.
Dude. I mean, that's right. That's tip of the hat to Egan. They figure out what the win condition was for Apple Valley. They poured all their eggs into the basket. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull up a couple replays from the last match here. We're going to take a look at this last fight. You can see, man, you can tell the communication was on point. Teleport coming out at this point. They have wiped out the defenses. Nautilus, the only defender here to get back. But, man, look at this damage from Fiora. Shredding these towers apart, and the Nexus not even going to be alive, man. 4 auto attacks is going to do it. Number 1, Kashi Fan, man, show him what a good Fiora and how dangerous of an animal that can become, right? Immediately blowing out multiple team fights too, man. The flanks, something that I said Fiora was going to struggle in. Kashi not only, showed up and participated, he exceeded expectations,
Absolutely. That set just didn't care about that late game though. It was a little bit disappointing to see that set didn't really do anything. Like he just let her farm, and eventually she got the first mythic above him.
Yeah.
Like a whole about, I believe, 1k gold lead by the time she had her mythic, which was an absolutely absurd lead.
Yeah.
That early in the game.
No, for sure, man. We saw a lot of good things from both of these teams, Twitch chat. So we will have a second game coming up. Got to give a quick shout out to Wisdom tonight, folks, sponsoring our League of Legends broadcast. Wisdom has been with Mnvl since the very get-go. They are above Mnvl in all, and they have given us so much. We are so grateful and thankful that Wisdom has been by our side and allowed Mnvl to become what it has today. Without some of their support and some key figures in that organization, we wouldn't quite be here today. So we love our friends over at Wisdom, and always, a thanks to them and shout out that way. Folks, we are going to a very short break. When we come back, game 2 between Apple Valley and Egan. Don't go anywhere. More action-packed League of Legends right around the corner. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Minnesota Varsity League. We just witnessed quite a banger game one to open up our League of Legends portion of the week. And I mean, overall, a really good amount of things from both schools, right? Apple Valley had a lot of good showing, strong showing in the early game. They got out to 3 dragon lead, right? But in the end, man, the dark horse and number one Keshi fan on that Fiora plus ECK5 on that Volibear, man, they opened it up, right? That play for late game, that play through the top half of the map. it ended up playing through in the long run. We saw countless team fights where they really popped off and strung it together. I mean, what did you really like coming out of that game one off?
I really liked. Okay, the early game bot lane was very, very impactful for Apple Valley, but the problem with that was they didn't take into account other lanes. I didn't. It was very rare for Tristana to leave lane solo. I think I
Right.
saw it like twice in the game, and then she just didn't touch the lane at all, and then Jinx farmed up. But the problem about that was that Malzahar kept ulting Tristana as well. It doesn't matter how behind you are, there's still CC in that
Yep.
game. There was still a presence.
Yeah. No, I hear that for sure, man. There was a lot of CC, and Egan continuously was pouring it on to that win condition on the side of Apple Valley, man. That Tristana had so many kills, so much gold. Beffin was doing his best carry attempt, but in the end, it did not matter as the CC and the team fighting ended up reigning supreme from Egan and number one Keshi fan. Man, we're going to have to see how Apple Valley is going to adapt and react to this top lane threat because right now they are going to have to change something going into this game too if they want to walk away today with another draw, right? Better than a loss. But for Egan, you're looking to go for the 2-0. You're looking to go back to 1-1 now. I mean, if you were the side of Apple Valley, Vance, tell me something that you would change for your top half of the map moving into game two.
I feel like the top presence was not enough, or like for set at least, there was not enough presence because near the end of the game, I believe there was about 120 CS difference and a 3 level difference, which
Right,
is an absolutely absurd number,
right.
which really impacted him and eventually the rest of the team.
Yeah, that's a sizable lead to where you're technically not even allowed to be on Fiora's screen. Like she will engage you that instant, especially with having Ghost in the late game, man. She's gonna run you down. There's nowhere that you can hide. Fiora is a demon in the split pushing side lane of things, guys. So we are gonna have to see Egan on pace to look for a 2-0. Apple Valley trying to play spoiler and come back and neutralize what they 1-1. They did select to stay on the blue side. I'd have to say that they're going to try to get their hands on that Tristana again. And if I'm the side of Egan, I'm not allowing it, right? I'm going to ban that away if I'm Egan this round. Them deciding and showing that they want to stay on blue side and utilize that first pick to me means that they want to stick with their game plan. Get the Tristana, get comfortable in the bot lane, play aggressive, and play through it. They're just going to have to play a much more reserved style of play on the top half of the map.
I think my favorite pick for this bot lane would be Samira on Egan's side because during those fights, like you just kept on getting clumped up and clumped up. So I feel as though Samira would be pretty good staying in the back, just chilling, and then just absolutely all in them and collapse
I
on
could
them. I feel
definitely,
like
yeah, I like that. No, continue, continue. I like that
I
though.
feel like Samira would be good on both teams now that I think about it, because we can definitely see it in both presences. Like both team, on one hand, there's Apple Valley that plays pretty much dive champions, like we
Yeah,
saw that Tristana and Nautilus. But for Egan, I believe they have some experience on the champ as well.
yeah. No, Samira being, I believe, a compatible pick here for both of these teams, but for one team for sure. So we are moments away from getting into the pro draft, folks. So we appreciate the patience. I mean, good things though coming out from both squads, right? Nothing to be frowned upon. Apple Valley did a very good job in the early game, but you got to tip the hat to the side of Egan, staying resilient, sticking through it. We saw how much of a disaster the early game was for that bot lane, but man, dude, they found a way, right? They found a way. That's really the big thing to highlight. So I wanna take a moment to credit that, right? Staying in the game, not checking out, and playing until that Nexus falls because you can be rewarded just like Egan was in game number one. As we get right back to draft for game number two, folks. Zach being taken out early, so nothing new. Sticking to it, taking out the Zach, the most played jungle on the Egan side, the Rex side of follow. So the same bans so far. Blitzcrank taken out earlier than last time.
I hope, I really hope Egan really learned their lesson from last game. It doesn't look like it so far, but we can maybe see a different band here. We'll wait. for now, the standard bans on Apple Valley, Zach, Camille, really good champs to ban there, I think.
This is the thing off. You ban Blitzcrank, okay? But if you don't ban Nautilus now and you don't pick them, you're still there. You go. That's good.
There it is.
I would like to see that ban follow through, right? Because if you only ban the one hook and you don't go for the Nautilus as well, you're not following through. And now AVHS
There it is.
opting to not even take the Tristana, they go for the Samira. So
does that.
good call from yourself there, thinking about that one.
Thank you.
The Fiora. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Egan sticking to their strong horse in the top lane. Number one Keshi fan. Dunking the hopes and dreams of the Apple Valley fan. Fiddlesticks.
Ooh.
A spooky pick. It's that time of year, and he delivers. I like it, ECK5.
I like that.
That's the homie pick coming out there. Tarek getting locked in for the side of Apple Valley.
That's a very interesting
Ooh,
pick, especially
Tom
with...
Kench, baby.
Oh.
We are getting a treat of some fan favorite champs right now. Unbench the Kench, unload the Toad, unclog the Frog. You name it, bro. I got them for days.
I've never heard of that before.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing. That's wonderful.
Dude, Yasuo as well. This is a Poggers draft so far, man.
Yeah, this will look like a really fun game.
My goodness.
It did let the Fiora slip through, though, which might prove to be a problem later.
Oh, it's already scary. Yes.
Yeah.
It's already scary. How are they going to adapt to that pick? So to me, it looks like Tom Kench being the top lane pick here. So going to just try to stay alive. Kench has a good amount of sustain and definitely has good duel potential. So although it might not seem as your traditional top lane pick, definitely could hold his own against the Fiora. Not like ideal. It's still favorable to Fiora, but he can hang his weight with it. Bans coming out. Victor taken out was the Apple Valley mid lane of last game. Now we'll see if they double down.
I don't know. If it's not a Tom Kench Trundle, I probably isn't.
No,
I would like
Tom
to see a
Kench
Trundle
top.
ban
Gotta
here
be
as
Tom
well.
Kench
Oh,
top. Trundle ban, bro. Are you reading this out of a Magic 8 Ball right now, Vance? Come on
that's
now.
amazing. We
You
notice
just
a
got the
lot.
reads.
Yeah, they have to learn as well. They have to learn what to ban in the pick as well.
Alrighty. Jinx. Egan.
Hmm.
Staying to it. I guess it could be Fiddlestick support, but it's most likely Fiddlestick's jungle. Okay,
I
would be
feel like
very
Fiddlestick's
surprised.
jungle would
The
be
Nocturne,
more optimal.
bro. The more spooky champions. Vladimir, come on! I'm loving this draft. I'm having
This is
way too much
amazing.
fun right now. The Pike coming out as well, bro. Let's go. I'm all for it. Both of these schools are providing with my needs here. Week 2, League of Legends action, man. Dude, the fact that that Mnvl has League of Legends again, Twitch chat, I cannot tell you guys how thankful I am just to be sitting here talking about these games with my main man, Vance. Dude, I mean, you know, let's talk about, break down this draft, break down what you're liking here for me.
I like the Pike a lot, especially myself as a Pike main. Sure, I might be biased here, but he has a lot of CC, and that E stun is very nice. Could force out a few flashes really early in the game, and if he does land it, we have a Jinx for it on the E as well. Like, there's a lot of gank potential as well with this Fiddlesticks arc that could come in. On the other hand, we have Samira and Tarek with some pretty good sustain in the bot lane later in the game. Once Samira gets that lifesteal and stack up those Conqueror stacks, Tom Kench is probably opting for the top lane. He can get a little bit more CS than last time with Set because he has a lot farther range with his tongue. We have Nocturne as well that could easily dive one of them, whether that could easily be like Jinx, or maybe Fiora could just absolutely just topple onto her, and Vladimir can maybe outrange Yasuo unless like he dashes in, which he probably will do, but there's still always a chance that like Vladimir has a lot of escape tools.
Yeah. So definitely going to have to be an interesting matchup there. You also definitely going to have that early game pressure and prowess over the Vladimir. But the key thing, right, the scaling with Vladimir, he becomes such a menace through the latter parts of the game. I mean, I think the big highlight, though, has to be spotlight on our Game 1 MVP. I mean, I kind of crowned him that, but I mean, he's well deserving of it. Number one Keshi fan, man, on the Fiora again. Showed up and showed out in the Game 1. And now, Tom Kench being the pick for Dagdas, we'll have to see, right? Do you bring more jungle attention and support up to top lane and help him out? Or do you rely more off the back of this Tom Kench, the sustain and the durability in this 1v1? So, I mean, that's going to be the big highlight. You know, we are going to take a very quick break here, I think, folks. So when we come back, we are going to be talking for a few minutes, but we will be getting into the draft very quickly after that. So don't go anywhere, guys. Game 2 of 2 coming up between Apple Valley and Egan. Stay tuned. More Mnvl action around the corner. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here again for game number 2, right around the corner. Before we get into it, quickly going to talk about what we need to see out of both of these squads if they are trying to get this W here for the final match of the evening. Go ahead and talk about Apple Valley, and what you really want to see here off for this squad.
Something very interesting to note is that now there's a Taric support, which can be a little bit weird, but with that Samira dash, that can easily proc that Taric stun. So maybe we can see another dive heavy comp, or we can see Taric just sitting back healing while Samira gets poked, maybe. But hopefully, I think Nocturne will just absolutely be very nice for this team, as they had trouble like getting solo picks a few times. So
For sure. No, I like that a lot. I gotta say, for the side of Egan, the big thing and my big thing that I've already been talking about is that Fiora, right? It was so strong, did so much work in that very first match, and now again in number one Keshi fans' hands, like this is gonna be problematic. I gotta see how Apple Valley are gonna react, right, and not let that Fiora spiral out of control. They have to make sure that she can't get off to the races like she did in game 1 if they want any hope of success in finding a draw here, right? So moments away from getting into this one, give me your predictions for this game. Who's going to take it and why?
I feel like Egan's to take this again because of that Fiora. I mean, we saw the Fiora 1v5 there. Like, it's kind of amazing to me that Apple Valley let that through. I didn't think they would let it through again, but they just, I don't know.
We'll have to see, Only time will tell. That Fiora was quite the game changer for the side of Egan. Now, if I had to give a leaning edge, I'd have to say that this Apple Valley team should be hungry, should be wanting to get this one back. They had such a strong early game, right, to kick off the show. And now, I mean, Egan, though, I really, really know what that Fiora is capable of. Like, legit, man. We saw it. We saw the TP backdoor play. We saw the team fighting ability. And now, as we get ready to load onto the Rift for one last team, Disaster was here. DC. So, an interesting note, Disaster and Shidon role swapping this game. So we had this in the notes. Both of these players playing a little bit of both positions. So now Disaster over to the mid lane and Shidon down to the pike in support. So if that's not a talking point, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, last time Disaster played, I believe that was Seraphine, which was a mage that really sat in the back, but now he's playing a character like Yasuo that depends on diving and more so going in close with that melee range.
Yeah. I mean, here we have it, a 5-point start here, not allowing anything over onto their side of the map. Where's Bubble starting over towards top side, and Fiddlesticks as well starting over towards top side. So a mirrored start for these two.
I mean, maybe we could see a clash here. Maybe Nocturne just speed clears and goes down bot. Maybe Fiddlesticks just takes red buff and Raptors and just immediately goes top. I mean, there's so much potential here for everyone.
We'll have to see. Yasuo shoving up mid lane very aggressively early on. No surprise. Benji going to be doing his best efforts to just survive and sit back.
How much can you do against a Yasuo? I mean, just sit there, take some CS.
Especially in early game phases, right? It is so deadly. Yasuo, such a threatening laner, right? Getting level 2 early because of that shove. And now,
I feel as though this Pike level 2 is... Oh, sorry.
You're good.
Oh, shoot.
Engage. Vlad trying to knock down the passive shield, but overall, still very solid trading coming out from Yasuo early on here.
I think something else I like as well is Pike level 2 with that Q and E combo just absolutely lock down the enemy, and maybe Jinx would opt in as well if she gets E level 2, but that seems to be little bit unlikely, but it looks like Fiora's just building up a big wave and just shoving Tom Kench in there.
Ooh, hook coming out, gonna land. Now the engage coming out, stun onto Samira, but split up on the Apple Valley side for who they are fighting. Beffin taking the brunt of that trade, and Aho player as well. So both these AD carries getting beat up a little bit early on here in the bot lane.
Sitting in the back of the mind, I would say for Pyke is that Samira's Blade Whirl is a really long cooldown. I believe 30-second cooldown at level 1. So there's a lot of opportunity for that. You can actually block the Pyke E-dash with Blade Whirl, so maybe we can see that in action. That would definitely help them out.
Yeah, and here we have it. A gank coming out. Worst bubble sneaking up behind. The Taric stun gonna land. And now the follow-up. Flashing onto Aho player. In trouble. Exhaust going down. One more auto's gonna do it. Beffin. First blood bound for Apple Valley.
Coming in
now
to help.
ECK pulling up to the party a little bit late. Level 4. The heal coming out, but a big stun landed from Taric. Can they turn it back? The fear comes out from Nocturne. Worst bubble. Pushing on. The damage comes through. Beffin finds 2.
Oh my god. I don't know how I feel about that fight for Egan. I mean, Fiddlesticks went in, hoping for a kill, but they had so much, the Taric heal, the Summoner heal to come in as well, I believe. I thought I saw. Maybe I was wrong, but...
Yeah, I mean, a very well executed turn, right? Coming out from the side of Apple Valley. Going on to Aho player, they peel on back. ECK shows up to the party. It is a 2-on-3, but the low HP bars bait him in. Fiddlesticks goes up, gets stunned, and immediately bites off more than he can chew. Feared up, and now all it is follow up from here. Apple Valley clean up a second, and a double buffs gifted over to Beffin. So back-to-back games now, out to quite an early lead in the AD carry position. Already has a shutdown on his head and a bit of an item advantage.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like that engage from Fiddlesticks was a little bit too overzealous, in my opinion. But I feel as though he should have waited a little bit. Maybe the 3v1, they would have collapsed on Pyke, and Fiddlesticks would have had a better angle on them. Well,
yeah, no, I hear ya. Now with a 2-0 kill lead and a bit of a gold lead to follow. Ocean Dragon coming out here first. Apple Valley showed great early dragon control in the last match, so now freezing this bot lane and just holding the minion wave right here. Trying to force Aho player and Shidon to overextend themselves.
yeah, there's nothing they can do. We talked about how Jinx needs to, or I mean, Aho player needs to like stay back like last game, but how can you stay back when the wave's just right there, frozen like that?
Yeah, and now, you would see, if they don't position themselves forward, they won't be in XP range. And now Taric flanking into the bot lane. They're going aggressive. Beffin disables the Pyke hook there. Nothing going to follow up, but ECK pulling back up for a gank now. Can he get in range for this Fear Terrify? It is warded, so going to be able to fear and silence. Now Beffin in trouble. The zap going to connect. The Taric stun going to land, and surviving is Beffin. Blitzcranker keeping her alive.
That Tar, the heal, the stun, the shield, it all came into play. That was an absolutely amazingly done by Blitzcranker there.
Yeah. Keeping Beffin upright, and now Apple Valley still deathless so far in game number 2. But Egan trying to make the most of forcing a recall and going to opt for this Ocean Dragon. Worst bubble, going to scan it and clear it here. So,
they already have a ward there.
Or not, yeah, it is warded. Just giving it entirely. Not even opting to try for a steal.
Nothing you can do there. Don't blame him for that though. Like, you can't really do much in that situation. There's no 4v1 in there. You have no escape.
Alright, I'm not going to be that guy, but you could have blast coned over, go for a smite steal, flash out a pit, right? You got it.
That would have been cool. Yeah, that would have been awesome.
That's the Chad jungle player. That's closer from 100 teams coming out right there. We'll save that for another game day.
Maybe. That would be awesome to see.
Dagd is trying to farm up, doing a much better job in the CS department, though, I must say, in game number 2 here, right? Keshi fan got the better of him in game 1, but now bouncing back and doing a nice job on the Tom Kench.
I mean, this is exactly what you wanted. Now, like, he's playing a little bit safer. He brought some safer runes, buying some safer items, kind of just sitting back, He's taken a few hits here and there, but overall, like, he's doing a lot better
Yeah.
last game.
Yep. Dagda's doing his job this game, right? Not allowing for those cross map vulnerable weak spots. ECK5 farming up 2 camps at the same time, showing some clearing efficiency on the Fiddlesticks. And now
Yeah, that's good.
some eyes and some pings going on to Rift Herald. So now it seems as though Apple Valley squad might be looking over towards this top neutral objective.
Yeah, I mean, so far there hasn't been a lot of jungle presence in the top lane. I've noticed this game as well since the Gita picked a safer pick of Tom Kench, so which is very interesting.
Fiddlesticks just going to take top crab, no problem. Worst Bubble trying to take out his own Gromp here. About a 900 to 1,000 gold lead for the side of Apple Valley. ECK5 sneaking into the tri-bush. And now going to see Worst Bubble here. Going to walk right into him. So this could be trouble, Worst Bubble.
Goodness.
Not a bush you want to walk into. Just a fear and a silence right now. Could have been much worse. No ultimate available. So just going to have to wait up for now.
Now that this Fiddle has this ult from Fiddle could easily, like, there's so much pressure now that Fiddle's level 6. I mean, he could jump in from any place. He could jump from up top right behind Jinx and Pike. Like,
Yeah.
And that initial fear on top of the fear that he gets from his Q is gonna devastate them later.
The CC chain ability is very, very gross on that
I
side.
agree. We could be seeing the ult right here.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Not going to happen for now. Maybe thinking about Rift Herald instead. Worst Bubble, cross mapping towards bottom lane. Has the Nocturne ultimate available. Can he get the follow-up required? Fiddlesticks starting out this neutral objective. And now, Egan just looking for some top half of the map control. Same game plan as last game is what seems to be the calls right now. Good job in the farm department, though, for Vladimir.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a big. This is kind of similar to how the game was before, but Apple Valley is playing a little bit slower than last time. You know, they won one game, they amped it up, they showed all, like, they got everyone, but now they just want to chill, take it slow, maybe a slower win. But let's see if Mike hits this.
Well, yeah, I mean, Apple Valley won the early game of last game, did not win the match. Egan came back and did end up, blowing out the mid to late game portion of it. So Apple Valley showing again that they have a very good knowledge base and game plan set for the early game, but now it is about execution and closing out through the mid to later half.
Look at this. They're all sticking together in the jungle. They're just playing
Stealing
with
the
each other
jungle
as
camp.
much as they
I
can
like
now.
it. Give it a blue buff over to Beffin, who's now going to be able to spam a poke on this Samira and going to continue to show some good trading down the bot lane. Keshi fan starting out aggressively on to Dagdas, but look at how much sustainability this Tom Kench has. Quite ridiculous up in this top lane.
As much damage as Fiora has, Tom Kench just has a lot more HP and has Ninja.
The ward in the bush, though, going to get him out safely. Good vision coming out. Dagdas back. Safe at tower.
I mean, like I was saying, the Fiora, she still does a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter. Like, Tom Kench has so much HP right now, and so much armor to combat her as well.
Indeed, yeah, no, definitely can kind of last a little bit longer in some of these trades is what it feels like,
Yeah.
Vladimir, man, farming up nicely. Has a bit of a CS lead on the Yasuo, so something that you wouldn't really expect, right? That's credit to Vladimir, as now second dragon of the game spawning in. This time it is Apple Valley trying to lead the punch here and find this second dragon. But ECK5 has the Fiddlesticks ultimate available, and this is a major choke point.
This could be
Apple
bad.
Valley could be in some
really
serious
bad.
trouble right here. Fiddlesticks
might not
getting
get
into
dragon,
position.
but he get 3
ultimate
kills
coming
here.
out. Dragon goes over to Apple
comes
Valley,
in.
but
Look
the
at
damage
that
coming
dive.
out. Trying to trade back.
Oh
Samira
my.
lighting it up, and it's Apple Valley finding the dragon and finding the kills.
These teams absolutely love these dragons, and it's usually that whoever gets it profits.
Dagdas the W out. Fiora the ghost.
Popping the ghost.
Dagdas is gonna die.
There we go.
You can change the champion But if you do not change Keshi Fan off of that Fiora, you are going to be punished. Let's take a look at the play. A little bit late from Egan's side, right? They got in after Dragon was already slain. And in the end of it, Apple Valley going to team up and clean up quite nicely at that Dragon fight.
I feel as though if Ek5 popped that all earlier, I feel like that would have been a lot better for the fight.
Much better.
That
Would have been much better.
That fear would have popped, and Pike could
before
easily
Dragon
just E
is
in there
even
and grab
slain.
everyone.
You know?
They also just didn't deal enough damage to kill anyone. I mean, if they did deal enough damage, maybe Pike could have gotten some kills resets, and that would have been a lot of gold for the entire team across that was there. But
I believe they were missing Yasuo in that team fight there.
yes.
For the side of Egan. So overall, you know, down numbers going in after Dragon is already slain, not really fighting for much, and Apple Valley playing very nicely again here in the early game. Samira up to 4-0-1. Now, like I said, it is still on Apple Valley. They have to play better. They have to execute properly this time if they want to walk away with a victory in game 2 and another draw to start out their season here.
They're learning a lot from their last game. I mean, they dove a lot in the early game, and now they got a lot of kills, but they're not diving as much this time. Instead, they're staying in groups, staying condensed, working with each other, playing off with each other, and instead, they're still getting the amount of kills that they got last game in the early game. So,
Uh-oh, worst bubble. Spotting out Fiddlesticks.
it's Tom Kench walking down too, but I don't think it'll result to anything.
Yeah,
here.
Herald going down, trunking this top tower to half. Nocturne wins this duel.
Oh.
The only thing is Fiora is close. Now Vladimir rotating over. Ek pushing forward aggressively. Nocturne forced to flash out. Blue buff going to be taken away accordingly from the side of Egan. So a little bit of a win found in the top half of the map, forcing out a Nocturne flash and stealing away a blue buff. But right now, still a good spot overall for this Apple Valley squad to be in.
Yeah, I mean, so far, like, they're just playing it pretty good right here. I mean, look at this.
Just kill
keep
on
on chipping
command.
down.
Yeah, just kill on
Yeah.
command in the spot lane at this point.
And all that sustain that Samir and Tariq have together, opting.
Whoa,
Samir
flash
gets
forward,
the- Oh my
Blitzcranker,
goodness.
not afraid to go.
Nocturne
the Nocturne
ult.
to follow, and Beffin dominating in this one. Spell shield to keep him alive,
Oh.
and look at that. Shidon goes back in, fights off more than he can chew, and look at, man, if there is fighting in the bot lane, you can very much expect Keshi Fam to be fighting in the top lane as he executes Dagdas for a second time here. And again, the only man with kills and gold right now on this Egan squad is #1 Keshi Fan. Otherwise, it is all Apple Valley here in game number 2.
This is exactly.
Fighting going down, the fear coming out instantaneously. Already immediately half HP. The parry, the healing. Dagdas just stops moving because he knows he's dead. Dead to rights.
It's going pretty similar to game 1. I mean, you got Fiora getting all these kills. You got, Fiora on Egan's side gets the kills, and we have bot lane Samira getting all these kills. 6-0 right now with 2 items, and while Jinx is barely just getting boots and Noon Quiver and all these other items that she bought.
Yeah, that's insanity. Samira already had 2 items. You know, Jinx is at tier 2 boots. So if Apple Valley could continue to force fights, now is the money, time, and zone to be fighting. So Dagdas approaching early, going directly onto Fiora.
We'll see if this
riposte
Fiora
to stun
can-
one up. Fiora has found herself in the middle of the fight. Tariq ultimate going invulnerable. Samira trading back, heavy damage onto Keshi Fan. He will drop first. Apple Valley in a very favorable position for this team fight, taking out the second member of the Egan squad. Now 2 players running for the hills. Apple Valley cleaning up in the team fight and gonna find the Rift Herald as well for their trouble. So a very well thought out fight for the AVHS squad.
I agree. I mean, that was a very good fight. That Tariq would save that fight with Samira coming in and getting chunked down by Fiora. Like last game, if Fiora were to jump on like Tristana, it's over. There's nothing to save her pretty much. She's just a killing machine. Just look at this. You have the Tariq ult come in, save her.
Keshi Fan can't do any more damage. the Nocturnal ulti to finish him off. It's Tarek to get the killing blow. Pike will get one with the ultimate there, but in the end, man, you're trading 1 for 3. And Rift Herald going over. So objective plus kill lead, man, way greater to the side of Apple Valley. Now up about 6,000 gold. And really doing some work here, you know.
There's so much gold on Apple Valley. I mean, you got Samira with 6 kills, even Tarek's coming up too with 2 kills, and Vladimir is now getting some kills as well and scaling, especially with that Dark Seal. He hasn't died once yet, so he could definitely be another second menace going into the late game or mid game.
No, he already is, man. 3-0-1. This Vladimir is already going to be a nightmare with the level 2 ultimate. Rift Herald's going to chunk out mid tower, but look at this. Fiora alone, caught out, engaging on Takeshi fan. You are not as strong as you were last game. Apple Valley showing some real dominance right now on Summoner's Rift.
Yeah,
Tom Kench TPing to save bottom tower right now and not allowing for any further damage from this Egan squad.
This is what you want to see. Apple Valley absolutely learned from the mistakes they made. They're not letting Fiora play the game anymore. They let her through. Maybe she had a false sense of like security, like, oh, I got my champ. I know I'm doing good. Oh, we have a Fiddle all coming in with that engage though.
Yep.
Finally,
now
shutdown landing on Fiddlesticks there.
Big damage. Samir ulti coming through and gonna get
chunked,
deleted. Dag is coming back over to help out. Big HP advantage. Vladdy going on their tower for a second, gonna be able to heal up now. And it's Apple Valley knocking on the door of taking out this mid T1 tower.
You were talking about that. Vladimir is crazy. I think he did like 500 damage to that Yasuo in like an EQ. That is absurd.
And that Night Harvester, you can't sleep on the mythic damage, especially when you're hitting these item spikes. Sword boots plus the Dark Seal at 10 stacks. You know very well that Vladimir is very a hurting vampire right now. And Baron Nashor, folks, slithering its way on to Summoner's Rift.
And so far, we've seen the objective game is doing really good. I mean, there's three dragons taken at 20 minutes.
Ashi fan up close.
Oh, another
Just fighting
1v4.
again, man. You can't be serious.
I think he's in over.
That's Baron, bro. That's Baron. Like, seriously. Apple Valley not going to waste a minute.
All they have is a
over himself. Must be still thinking it was last game. Apple Valley, a man advantage, and wasting no time to get this Baron going. It's half HP and counting. Are they going to contest? Yasuo pushing mid. Fiddlesticks not even thinking about a rotation. Egan surely giving this one over in another 20-minute Baron for Apple Valley. How much can you get? And you still got to play flawless, right? This is deja vu to what we saw last game.
Yeah, I mean, things are going the same, except Apple Valley
a little bit cleaner.
Learned. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. I mean, they learned that Fiora was definitely their kryptonite. I mean, she scaled, she got a bunch of CS, but now she's not being allowed to scale. Now she's just being bullied, being picked on the sideline, while her entire team is like in the bot side, just farming. Fiora's out there in the jungle, looking for fights that she should not be taking this early right now.
Yeah, I mean, Fiora jumping into a 1-on-4 without the advantages that she had last game is quite concerning for the side of Egan. If they're going to fight, they got to do it together, and they got to have the numbers. Vladimir not here for this fight. Tarek opening it up with a stun on the Fiddlesticks. Dagdas could be the point of entry, but not pulling the trigger. Apple Valley not utilizing the Baron either. Now popping the Nocturne ultimate and going in onto the Pike. Gonna E out. Fiora caught out alone. Isolated again. How many times can she fan this game?
Oh
Fiddlesticks ulting back. Egan desperately trying to trade back onto him, but the damage is too real from the Apple Valley squad. Flashing out on the side of Jinx, trying to get out. Vladimir goes into full form, trying to stay alive. Tower trading back heavily on Apple Valley. Eventually, this disaster gonna drop, and it's Apple Valley to find tier 1 mid turret in the mid lane.
I mean, look what they did again. They just caught up the Fiora again. Like,
yeah, man,
Fiora needs to change something up, or it's just gonna go wrong.
The positioning is what needs to change up, right? Playing way too forward, getting caught out how many times? Every time this Fiora is up forward, Apple Valley are saying Fiora, Fiora, and the entirety of the team is jumping on top of them. So, good plays coming out from Apple Valley here. and doing so nicely as they kick off this Baron buff power play with a 3,000 gold lead.
And now we have an Infernal Drake up for taking as well. Like, if they take an Infernal Soul, like, that's just a lot more damage on their team, which Egan is having so much trouble just tanking these hits.
Yeah, gonna put them to match, or rather soul point if they can find this. Egan thinking about contesting, not really gonna honor the thought much more than that. As Dragon going over Apple Valley, soul point found. That not gonna quite land. Fiddle ult, leading the charge.
Quite.
Egan fighting on their
my.
terms, going in desperately. Beffin to open up the kills early. Now Fiora not quite in the fight. Pike getting on out, and Yasuo showing up afterwards. Looking around, but nothing to be found, man. Egan engaging, but not really. Their mid laner's not with them, and it seems to be a much more discombobulated Egan Wildcat squad here in game number 2.
Egan is absolutely getting dismantled from the inside. I mean, I don't think there were that many like duos in there. I saw Fiora on her own, and I saw Yasuo on her own. Jinx and Pike got separated when Pike just tried to escape. Like, this is insane.
Playing
like,
a bit too separated, whereas Apple Valley is that full 5-man fist format coming after them.
Yeah, they even end the Baron power play with a 4K, extra 4K gold lead, which is crazy.
And here we have it, pulling back a rotation.
This is what we were talking about. I mean, look at them all just sitting together. They're all even recalling together. Like, look at that.
Yeah. Apple Valley power being shown and showcased right there. Egan, you know, if they were going to get back into it, they would require some shutdowns being handed over to either the Fiora, the Yasuo, or the Jinx. Jinx would be the easiest and probably best thing to happen for them. We'll have to see, though. You know, it feels though Apple Valley know what they got to do to close out and making the right moves right now. Yasuo spotting out a couple, Pike backing him up, trying to take away the Gromp, gonna reset, aggro-wise, Zap gonna go over, not gonna quite land. All these Apple Valley players spotted on a ward though. Ek here, up close, has the Fiddlesticks ultimate, gonna blast one out, and Fiora is alone again,
They're
man.
being caught out again, but now the Fiddle comes in and all that 5-man
Fiora
fear.
survives.
There could be something
Now
here.
Egan's
coming back.
The Terra ulti, but for what cost? Fiora stays alive.
Oh my
Apple
God.
Valley have overextended yet again. And it's Egan.
It's happening again.
The miracle
it's a
fight.
repeat. Oh my God.
How much more can they get off of this? Only Vladimir left alive. I would love to see him go all in here. But another turret gonna fall. Look at this gold lead evaporating from Apple Valley. Again, the kingdom falling apart as Inhibitor goes down. Now Baron spawning back in, and it is deja vu right now, fans.
Oh my God.
If Egan come back and take this Baron buff, Apple Valley are going to be shaken in their boots.
This is like, look at this. We thought we were thinking that like Fiora got caught out, right?
Almost,
look at this,
almost. But
look
she
at this
gets alive,
perfect
man.
fiddle angle right here. That
Yeah, the fiddle angle.
That
5-man
five-man fear.
Well, 4-man. Vladimir not here. A big thing to highlight, right? It's a 4-on-5. And we said earlier, if Fiora can survive long enough for that ultimate, she's almost never going to drop. And here we have it. It is Egan standing tall.
Look at that. That was beautifully played. I mean,
Not
Fiora
again.
lived through all
Look
that.
at this. Fiddlesticks posting up, Scarecrow method activated,
Look
and
at
this could be another one, dude.
They're all together
Apple
again.
Valley not respecting the Fiddlesticks, man.
They need
If he
Kenshi,
hits another
though.
fat 4-man, it could be the end of him because Tarek can't call in that ultimate and get the invulnerability in time. They just die too quickly. So they cannot get 4-man or 5-man terrified. But this time, Apple Valley trying to fight on their terms. If anything would switch the cards, it is them pressing the go button. Nocturne
Look at
ultimate being
this.
called in now. Looking for
Blend them
Fiddlesticks.
all.
Not quite going to find him. Dropping down to 1 HP. Catching Fan to drop first. Terrical invulnerability coming through. Egan flashing, running for the hills. Worst bubble going to take out Shidon. Samira running down Ek. It is Vladimir chasing down. Disaster gonna fall, and now the ultimate coming out.
Oh, the fiddle!
Fiddlestick's healing up big. Tom Kench gonna keep him
Oh,
alive.
big off.
And now Eck gonna run, but he cannot hide. Apple Valley gonna find the fight and gonna find Baron Buff off the back of it. So, wiping the sweat off of their brow, dusting the dirt off their shoulder, and bouncing back in the face of adversity and maintaining the gold lead.
I mean, we saw again the reason why Egan were losing these team fights. They got dismantled from the inside. I mean, Nocturne goes in around right here on this lonely, kind of lonely. But like, she got chunked down so incredibly fast, and now they're getting dismantled. Look at this, they're separated. Like, you got Fiddle running up, you got Jinx and Yasuo fighting for their lives against 30, and then Fiddle just the last one standing, but not for long. These are this is the same reason why they won the last few team fights. I mean, why they lost the last few team fights. They got dismantled and they got separated. So,
yeah, you know, good points noted here. Getting into closing game points, this is where Egan stood tall and they denied Soul, right? If Apple Valley can find it, surely it could push them over the line and finding a draw in the series. However, Egan trying to play spoiler. Keshi fan, now level 15, so only a 1-level lead compared to the 3-level lead from last game. Apple Valley really need to keep an eye on top lane inhibitor, those super minions pushing the base, and the Fiddlesticks surprise ultimate. Vladimir flanking in, level 16 now, so a very big power spike noted. 20 Magi stacks for the Vladimir. He is moments away from getting Rabadon's death cap, dude.
Oh, and that premature Fiddlesticks ult though, that is gonna cost them.
Devastating.
That's
gonna be
so devastating.
Wait, Keshi fan, the
oh
teleport,
my
the
god!
back door, they win the team fight, but at what cost? One tower down, teleport coming in. Keshi fan, oh my goodness, it's 2 players. It's not going to be enough, man. I was freaking out, but it's not going to be the end. Apple Valley staying alive. They will find Keshi fan at the end of this. They wipe 4. They find the ace now. Can Apple Valley close out the game? They have the death timers, but not for too much longer. The premature ulti on Fiddle, you said it. The 3-man knockup from Yasuo and the entirety of the follow-up coming out, or not Yasuo, Tom Kench rather, with the knockup. Fiora, a desperate play, pushing the base, almost pulling it off, but it's not going to happen in the end. One tower goes down.
Defend, though.
Super Mega Death Rocket going to tag him low. Worst bubble in Apple Valley, trying to push through. This could be the end if they don't do it to perfection. Taric invulnerability coming out. Damage not to be traded through. One tower more to find. Damage being put down.
God.
And it's the Apple Valley squad standing tall and finding the draw here this evening, man. What a game 2, Vance. What did you think? 17-11 for Beffin on the Samira, bro. That is insanity. Like that stat line's crazy.
I almost thought we were about to go through another deja vu moment, but wow. I mean, Apple Valley learned from their last mistakes. They played safe this time. They didn't let Fiora play the game at all, and they played with each other so well, like they did last game. Like they kept on 5-manning.
For sure, man. They stayed together. Team mentality, right? Sticking together. Apple Valley showing that they have what it takes. They made the right moves in game number 2, and they got what they deserved. So a draw coming out. Apple Valley starting their season out 0-2 with back-to-back draws. So still looking for their first win, along with Egan now at 0-1-1. Man, we appreciate both of these schools coming out and playing for us this evening, folks. I mean, we are going to take a very short break. We are going to go get an interview figured out from the Apple Valley side of things. Don't go anywhere. Closing thoughts and comments coming from an Apple Valley player just to close out our evening here on Tuesday night. Stay tuned. We'll be back with some questions very soon. Welcome back for our closing segments of this Mnvl broadcast tonight, folks. I am joined by my co-caster off, and now we have a very special interviewee stepping into the booth. It is one of the most dangerous supports I've seen in the Mnvl Summoners Rift so far. It is none other than Blitzcranker. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
Dude, good to hear. I mean, I'd expect you to be feeling good. My first question was going to be, how did it feel playing in the matches tonight, and how did it feel to bounce back and win that game too after such a close game one?
It's very anxiety inducing at the beginning. Like with the first game, like when we did that first hook at level 1, like all that is always just really like that's the most anxious I am throughout the match. But,
Yeah,
we usually get first blood and then that we just kind of go from there. Um yeah, no, the bounce back was crazy. I don't know, I was feeling pretty good throughout the whole game. I'm usually not too worried towards the end.
for sure. Yeah, man. I mean, you showed up and showed out tonight for real. Like your gameplay was looking great. You and your 80 carry duo Beffin really shined. So off. I mean, what's your first question here for Blitzcranker tonight?
Yeah, I noticed that between game one and game two, you guys learned a lot. But I wanted to ask you about how did you feel about changing playstyles, going from a hook champ and a dive champ like Nautilus to Taric, where you can sustain your Samira more and kind of protect her.
Yeah, it's definitely a jump in gameplay. I'm definitely more comfortable on champs. However, I do tend to play some supports, so it's not like a crazy jump or anything. And it's definitely really nice to be able to keep Samir alive. Tarek also does have like semi good CC, so I don't think it's too crazy of a change.
For sure. For sure. Blitzcranker, I got a next question for you here. I know you guys at Apple Valley are a competitive squad, right? You guys are looking for your W, right? You're looking for this first one of the season. I wanted to ask you what you think it's going to take from you and your squad mates moving into next week to come out with your first win.
I definitely think we just need to get better jungle tracking. I think we're pretty successful overall with how we play and like call outs and everything. It's just a lot of the time we tend to lose based off poor jungle tracking.
Okay,
So I think it's just something that we need to work on a lot more. And if we can master that, I think we have the perfect team.
for sure. Good to hear. Vance, any final questions here?
I think our final question is during game two, you guys let Fiora get through the pick phase, and I was wondering what were you guys talking about or thinking about when you guys let Fiora through? Like, what was the plan?
I guess we were kind of worried about the Fiora pick again, but we kind of like we're. I think we can, take care of it next game. Like we kind of figured out, yeah, she's gonna be split pushing the whole game, and we just needed to make sure we could shut her down and not let her get out of control again. And I think we did that pretty well in the second game.
For
I
sure.
I I 100% agree with that. She did not get to play the game that time. That was
Yep.
that was amazing.
No, man, you guys reacted and adapted accordingly. You played a much cleaner game, too. You closed out nicely, right? You lost one team fight, but after that, you said no more shenanigans. We're closing out the show. And, man, I mean, it looked good in game number two. So, Blitzcranker, I want to give you this last minute here to kind of give any shout outs, any teammates, coach, whoever you got. Go ahead. This is your time.
I guess I want to thank my coach. I don't know, ever like since day one to now, we have improved so much just based on like everything that he's shown us. He's basically like I don't know, he's just improved how we play so much, and I think with that we've just become so much better of a team. Um, I think my team as well. I want to thank them. We couldn't be doing this if we weren't all together, and I think the fact that we're all so close just makes it even more fun to play, as well as I think we just can work together. Um, Especially though ADC Beffin, me and him have just been grinding and climbing and just doing really well, and I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I think me and him have a really good combo, and I think it's just yeah.
It
Dude,
definitely shows.
yeah, dude, it definitely shows. I don't think anybody can contest that. You guys just showed two monstrous duo performances in the bot lane. I mean, I think other MNVL bot lanes are going to have to be on watch after today because this Apple Valley bot lane is a gruesome duo. So we appreciate you coming on to the broadcast, Blitzcranker. We appreciate you guys playing tonight, and we wish you the best of the luck in the remainder of your League of Legends season.
I appreciate it.
Take care. All
Good
right.
luck.
See ya.
Sweet. We appreciate it. Apple Valley folks showing up and playing nicely tonight. Egan also having a good duo of games, right? They didn't find as many kind of trades and, big shutdown plays in game number 2, but it was more so Apple Valley playing a cleaner game. Do you have any final closing thoughts for me tonight off?
I think both teams played well. I mean, Apple Valley definitely learned a lot more than what we saw last time, kind of. But I like that Apple Valley definitely like learned from what they did before, and they also kept a few things that they played with before, like sticking to 5-man, and I think that was the most impactful part was sticking together no matter what. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think any team fight I saw them separate once, even if they were chasing one lonesome, they brought like 3 down there. This is
Yeah.
crazy.
No, for sure. No, I'm in agreement, man. Both these squads had their moments. Game 1 definitely going more over to the side of Egan, and then in game 2, Apple Valley finding that success, man, finding it in the team fights through the mid lane strength of the Vladimir and through that Samira in the bot lane. I mean, 17, 2, and 11, I think was the final scoreline for Beffin. So, I mean, like I said, these bot lanes are gonna have to watch out, folks. One more time, a shout out to Wisdom, the primary sponsor of our Tuesday night League of Legends broadcasts. We could not be here without them. They have supported Mnvl since the birth and inception of this organization and what we have become. So, big thank you and shout out to Wisdom. Right now, we are, day 1 of week 2. Valorant coming up tomorrow. It is nonstop MNVL action throughout the rest of the week. I want to thank everybody in Twitch chat for coming out tonight, for listening to the broadcast, for being here and supporting us. We wouldn't be here without any of you guys as well. As always, stay safe. Have a good rest of your night, everyone. And we will see you guys back here tomorrow for some Wednesday Valorant action.